Did you know that AI models inherently cannot read sentences in order? Natively, they have absolutely no idea which word comes first. Welcome to Yurix AI. This is lecture 11 of LLMs from scratch, zero to builder. Today, we're going to master exactly how to give your AI a sense of word order using positional embeddings and data loaders in Python. Here is our game plan for this explainer. We'll start with what positional embeddings actually are, compare absolute and relative positions, jump into a hands-on Python implementation, look at batching with the data loader, generate our two embeddings, and finally, add them all together.
All right, part one. What are positional embeddings?
Think about this for a second. Without position info, dog bites man and man bites dog look identical to the model. Surprising? Pause the explainer right here and drop your answer in the comments. It sounds totally wild, but it's true. The core attention mechanism in a large language model doesn't read text left to right like we do. It actually looks at all the words at the exact same time. So feeding words, or what we call tokens, into an LLM without giving it any order is literally like handing a friend a deck of unnumbered flashcards. If they accidentally drop that deck, the whole story is completely lost because they desperately need page numbers to piece the narrative back together. The words are all there, sure, but the sequence, the context, and ultimately the meaning are just completely scrambled. And that brings us to our standout idea for today. The attention mechanism has no built-in sense of order, so we add positional embeddings to tell the model where each token sits. Positional embeddings are just mathematical vectors, basically arrays of numbers that act as those missing page numbers. If that just clicked, hit the like button. Moving right along to section 2, absolute versus relative positions. Let's break down how we actually categorize these markers. When we assign these positional embeddings, there are generally two main strategies used in the AI world. First, you have absolute positions. This assigns a fixed exact index to each position in a sequence. So 0 for the first word, 1 for the second, 2 for the third, and so on. Relative positions, on the other hand, focus on the dynamic distances between tokens, kind of like saying word A is 3 steps away from word B. For the GPT models that we're building towards today, we typically use the absolute embedding approach. This creates a sequence of exact numbers, almost like a placeholder vector from 0 all the way up to the maximum input length minus 1, rather than calculating those shifting relative distances. All right, section 3. Let's get into the hands-on Python implementation and see how this looks in code. Getting our text ready involves 3 core steps. Step 1, we initialize a tokenizer. In our case, we're using byte pair encoding, or a BPE tokenizer. This is the exact same type used by heavy hitters like GPT-3. Step 2, we process a raw text snippet, let's say Edith Wharton's short story, The Verdict, and we encode it into numerical token IDs. Finally, step 3, we create input target pairs. If our context size is 4, our input X is the first 4 tokens, and our target Y is the next 4 tokens, just shifted by 1 position. That shifted target is exactly how the model learns to predict the next word. But before we can generate our embeddings, we have to efficiently feed these pairs into the model. That brings us to section 4, batching with the data loader. In PyTorch, a data loader is an absolutely incredible utility. It wraps an iterable around your dataset. See, instead of feeding one text sample at a time, which would be just agonizingly slow, the data loader dramatically speeds up retrieval by grouping text chunks into what we call mini batches. These batches are tensors, which you can just think of as multidimensional arrays that the model processes simultaneously on a GPU or CPU. Plus, it lets us shuffle the data, which is super important to prevent the model from just memorizing the sequence of the dataset. To process all this efficiently, the data loader uses a stride, basically a sliding window approach to move across the text across batches. If our stride is 1, the second batch just shifts 1 word over from the first. Check this out. Notice how batch 1's input is 2351. Batch 2's input starts exactly 1 token over at 3518. Now, in practice, we usually increase the stride to avoid overlapping sequences too much, but this sliding window ensures our model gets plenty of sequential examples to learn from. Okay, with our batches neatly packed and ready to go, we are moving on to section 5, generating the token and positional embeddings from those IDs. In PyTorch, we generate these embeddings using the torch.nn embedding layer. And what's really fascinating here is that this layer is fundamentally just a giant lookup table. You feed it your vocabulary size and your desired output dimension, and it creates a matrix of random optimizable weights. When you pass a token ID into it, it functions purely as a row lookup operation. It just fetches the specific row that corresponds to that ID. So what exactly are those dimensions? Well, our token embedding layer needs a vocabulary size.
The BPE tokenizer, famously used for models like GPT-2 and GPT-3, has exactly 50,257 unique tokens. That means our lookup table has 50,257 distinct rows just waiting to be accessed.
And for our output dimension, while a massive model like GPT-3 uses 12,288 dimensions, for our educational setup here, we encode these tokens into a much more manageable 256-dimensional vector representation. This means if we have a batch size of 8 with 4 tokens in each sequence, it perfectly transforms into an 8 by 4 by 256 multidimensional tensor. Every single token is now represented by 256 specific numbers that capture its core meaning.
Finally, let's explore how we bring the meaning and the order together in our last section, adding embeddings together.
For our GPT model's absolute embedding approach, we create a positional embedding tensor with the exact same dimensions as our token embeddings. Again, that's 256 dimensions per position. Because the dimensions match perfectly, we can simply add them directly together. It's literally that simple. Token embeddings plus positional embeddings equals our final input tensor. By adding the numbers together, the model receives both the what, the actual meaning of the word, and the where, its exact position in the sequence, all beautifully combined into one single vector. As this quote on the screen highlights, this fully prepared, multidimensional tensor is our ultimate goal today. Our raw text has been transformed into a mathematical format that the deep, complex layers of our large language model can actually read, process, and ultimately learn from. Let's do a quick recap of what we just covered. We've journeyed from raw text, tokenized it into IDs, efficiently batched those IDs using PyTorch's data loader, passed them through lookup tables to create token and positional embeddings, and finally added them together